McAfee might actually not be dead. Now, according to this article, one of his ex-girlfriends actually claims he still lives in Texas. Now, granted, keep in mind he has like multiple girlfriends. He's got like a whole harem of girls, honestly. Alright, y'all, it's actually pronounced harem. I'm really sorry for this mistake. Oh god, what the— But apparently this one was the closest to John out of any of them. This article, she goes on to say, I don't know if I should say, but 2 weeks ago after his death, I got a call from Texas. It's me, John. I paid off people to pretend that I am dead, but I am not dead. Now, if you don't know who John McAfee is, John McAfee was the creator— sorry, I got this gum out of my mouth. John McAfee was the creator of the McAfee antivirus software. Then he sold it to whoever company that ended up buying that. I hate that antivirus, by the way. It is the most annoying shit on my computer. But he's kind of just been like this free-roaming nomadic entrepreneur. He ran for president in 2016 and 2020, actually participating in the libertarian debate. But the controversy surrounding John McAfee lies in the fact that he's refused to pay taxes to the IRS, apparently killed a guy in Belize, and he's just been on the run from multiple governments. But in terms of running away from the government's part of his life, that's been going on within the last 6 or 7 years or so. On his Instagram videos and on his Twitter and whatever, he'd be sort of surviving and thriving in the Bahamas, that sort of region, the Caribbean. But eventually he wound up in Spanish jail to serve his crimes against humanity, perhaps. Now, it's reported that this jail would be the place where John McAfee would eventually die, or how I should say, killed himself. Now, I won't get too much into the details considering that this platform is YouTube. Whenever someone reports about Jeffrey Epstein or Hillary Clinton, it gets kind of dicey with YouTube's terms of service. But regardless, this is where he killed himself, and thus we thought that the story of John McAfee would be over. However, apparently, it's not. The ex-girlfriend in question is named Samantha Herrera, sorry. And she and McAfee, who were living in San Pedro, Belize, started dating when she was 18 and planned to marry. So this was a girlfriend that was sort of in the S tier of girlfriends for John. She would go on to say that, quote, his side of the story is that they were after him because he didn't pay off the government. They wanted to hurt him to get rid of him. And she's describing the Belizean government and basically the United States government too. Jesus, that's John? That's the most malnourished person I've ever seen. Now, she also, and I've pulled up a different article because the previous one didn't go down much into detail, but she claims that he's still alive and living in Texas. Now, see, this is where I call BS, because John McAfee's whole mission was to leave the United States, to just live out in the middle of the ocean and not have to pay taxes. He also has a huge disdain for the United States Central Intelligence Agency, as well as the FBI, as well as the government entirely. So why would he return to that country? You know, that doesn't make sense. Even if he faked his passport, faked his ID, faked all of that, they would find his ass in a heartbeat if he lived in the United States. Now, I love Texas. I think it's a great state. But if I were John, I would pull a Tupac and go to Cuba. Cuba is way better. You get those old-timey 50s cars that the Cuban government were only able to acquire. And it also looks cool. And you get the cigars. So I would live in Cuba if I were John. I wouldn't live in Texas. And I don't even think he's alive. Regardless, I don't want to get too much into details as to why I think that. I will say that the main theory for why John killed himself is because the McAfee software apparently had dirt on the Clintons and all of the elites. I'm not going to say that's true or not. It's a theory. I'm just going to blow it out there. It's not certified by any means. All right, guys, is that a schizo thing to say? Was John whack? I mean, he even got a tattoo that says schwacked in the case that he would die in prison. Was his fall at the hands of a government or any sort of agency, or did he kill himself, or is he in Texas? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and peace.